A very beautiful morning to my dear students. How are you all? I hope that you all are enjoying your online classes. That is very good. In our last English classes, we have completed first chapter of our book. Now, in today's class, we'll move to the next chapter, which is chapter 2, Rip Van Winkle. As you can see, it's about a man. You can say it's about lazy man, whose name was Rip Van Winkle. Here is a small activity is given which you have to do by yourself, and it's very easy and enjoying. I hope you will enjoy this activity. Now move to the lesson. One day Rip Van Winkle fell asleep, and when he woke up he had become an old man. This story is about Rip Van Winkle, that what happened to him, how lazy he was. Rip Van Winkle was a lazy man. He slept the whole day. His wife tried her best to get Rip Van Winkle take up a job. When he did get a job, he was asked to leave because he slept too much. Because of his sleeping, he had to leave his job, as you can see. He was so used to sleeping. He always slept. That's why wherever he worked, he had to leave that place. One day, Rip Van Winkle tired of his wife telling him to get a job, ran up a mountain with a favorite companion, his dog. He reached the top, crossed a stream, went to a spot where nobody ever came, and he sat down there. He had never had so much exercise in his life. Now, here you can see his wife, because of his wife, he tired of his wife, and because of her, she ran up to a mountain. Do you know mountain? I hope you know mountain. Let me tell you. Mountain is a huge hill, you can say. Now, with his favorite companion. Favorite companion with, you can say, it means a person or any animal or anyone which you like to spend time with. So his favorite companion was his dog. So he ran up to the mountain with his dog. He was just getting back his breath when he heard someone call his name, Rip Van Winkle. Strange, nobody knows him here. Nobody knows me here. Then who is calling me? Thought Rip Van Winkle. Here he was just getting back his breath when he heard someone call his name. He was just taking his breath and he heard that someone is calling his name. And he thought that, how can somebody know me? I am new in this place. Then he turned around and saw a funny looking man carrying a big barrel. The funny looking man said, "Please help me carry this barrel to my friends a little below the stream." When he turned, he saw a funny looking man. He was taking a big barrel, and that man is saying to him that, "Please help me carrying this barrel to my friends below the stream." Then Rip Van Winkle had climbed so far up the mountain to avoid work. He was so lazy, that's why to avoid the work, he climbed to that far mountain. Here was a man asking for help, and after climbing that huge mountain, he was thinking that here was a man asking for help. He first decided to refuse, but then thought, let me help the poor man. First of all, he thought that he will refuse his work, whatever his work was. But after that, he thought that let me help the poor man. He is a poor man, let's help him. Then I can rest. He thought, ki first of all, help that poor man, then I will take rest. So he and the funny looking man walked down to a cave in the mountain. He and that man walked to a cave in a mountain below the streams. There Rip Van Winkle saw many other funny looking men. There he saw many other men like that man. Means that was a funny looking man, and he saw many other like him. All of them were playing. They all are playing. They ignored him. As soon as the barrel was placed on the ground, the man pulled out mugs, dipped them into the barrel, and drank something. It was a strange sweet drink. Now, here you can see all of them were playing. They ignored him. As soon barrel was placed on the ground. As soon when the barrel was placed in the ground, the man pulled out mugs. The funny looking men have mugs. They pulled out mugs and dipped that mug into the barrel and drank something. They pulled out something from that barrel and drank it. What was that? It was a strange thing, something sweet drink, you can say. Now, Rip Van Winkle too dipped a mug in the barrel and drank it. He too dipped a mug in the barrel and he also drank it. It tasted good. He had one more mug. He taken one more mug. After having 3 mugs, he fell asleep. After taking 3 mugs, he fell asleep. When he awoke, he saw that all the funny looking men had gone. When he awoke, he saw that all the men which were standing there, playing there, ignoring him, were gone. He called out to his dog, but there was no response. Now he called out his dog, but that dog was also not responding because he was not there. He could not believe he had slept the whole day and night. He thought that he slept whole day and night. He got up. His joints ached. When he got up, he thought that I slept whole day and night. And when he got up, his joints ached. There are a little pain in his joints was going on. As he started walking back home, he saw the village down below. When he was start going back to his home, he saw a village down there, which somehow seemed changed. He thought it somehow changed. When I came here, it was not like that, but now it's some changed. When he entered the village, he saw new faces. When he entered the village, he saw some strange person, some new faces he saw. All the people looked at him and rubbed his chin. Seeing them do this, Rip Van Winkle did the same. Everyone there was rubbing their chin. Seeing them do this, Rip Van Winkle also did the same. To his surprise, he found that he had gone he had grown a foot-long beard overnight. When he touched his chin, he realized, and he was also surprised, that he had grown a foot-long beard in overnight, he thought. Now move to the next page. Now here you can see, it's the next page. Rip Van Winkle was puzzled. He was puzzled. He was so surprised that in one night, how can a foot-long beard can grown up? Then he believed that he knew most of the village folks well. He thought that, well, I know most of the village folks. But today he could not see anyone who was known to him. He thought that I know most of the folks of this village, but right now no one of them are visible here. I can't see no one of them. Then the children made fun of him. Then some children came to him and make fun of him. Running behind him, Rip Van Winkle stopped by a place. Running behind him, he stopped by a place where there had been a school and asked the crowd that had gathered. He was stopped near a place where there had been a school. He thought here a school was. Asked the crowd that had gathered. Some crowd gathered there around Rip Van Winkle, and therefore he was asking that here had been a school. Where is that school? It means, where is Schooner, the schoolmaster? The schoolmaster's name was Schooner. So he was asking, where is the Schooner, the schoolmaster? Somebody said, oh, Schooner, he went to war in 63 and never came back. Someone said that Schooner went to war in 63 and he never came back. Then Rip Van Winkle said, and Van Demmel? Asked Rip Van Winkle. And Van Demmel? Rip Van Winkle asked. He died 18 years back. Someone named Anne Van Demmel, he asked that, where is Anne Van Demmel now? Then someone replied that he died 18 years back. Said another voice in the crowd. Rip Van Winkle thought, am I going mad? He thought that, what happened to me? Which type of answers I am getting? Am I going mad? Had I slept all these years on the mountains? Then he's little surprised that all these years I was slept in that mountain. Finally, Rip Van Winkle asked, does anyone here remember Rip Van Winkle? Then he finally asked about himself to everybody. Then a woman said, yes, he was my father. He went up the mountain 21 years back. Then a woman said that Rip Van Winkle was my father, but he went to mountain 21 years back, but never returned. His dog came back without him. That woman said that my father went to mountain 21 years back, but he never returned. Just his dog came back without him. Rip Van Winkle was overjoyed. He was so happy. He said, daughter, it is me, Rip Van Winkle. Don't you recognize me? Rip Van Winkle said with happiness that, my dear daughter, I am Rip Van Winkle. Don't you recognize me? Don't you remember me? Oh, my father, it is really you? Where you have been all this while? Said his daughter. His daughter said that, oh my father, it is really you. It is really you. I can't believe that. Where have you been all this while? Father and daughter hugged each other. Father and daughter hugged each other. Rip Van Winkle had indeed slept for 21 years. Can you believe that, students? That Rip Van Winkle slept for 21 years. I think nobody can sleep so long. Now, this story was written by an American author whose name was Washington Irving. And we got a message here, one should not be lazy. We got a message that one should not be this type of lazy. Okay? Very good.